In the last few lessons, I've been talking about using your breath to control your emotions. In this week's lessons, we are talking about the body, the whole body. And here the concept of thinking with your blood comes into the picture. We work on two different systems. We have the nervous system and the endocrine system. The nervous system works with neurotransmitters, fast and furious. So when somebody pranks you and you get a fright, you go, ah! That's your nervous system and your neurotransmitters. But if perhaps the prank embarrassed you in front of somebody that was important to you, maybe an hour later, you're still churning, you're still mulling over that fright prank moment, and you're still feeling angry. That emotion is hormonal. Hormones take longer to kick in, but last longer. So with a fright, there would have been noradrenaline that would have caused wah. And then that noradrenaline would have gone through your nervous system and it would have triggered your adrenal glands that sit above your kidneys behind you, that would have started releasing adrenaline. And that starts then circulating in your blood. And it lasts much longer. So the jump is a neurotransmitter, and the thump of your heart is a hormone. So you can see how the two work together, but slightly out of sync. And when they're working together in balance, appropriately, then of course it's super beneficial. Here we all are, evolved for millions of years and as successful as can be. But we get back to how we are slowly but surely using less and less of our brain capacity to steer more and more of our lives. So what we want to do is we want to get these things into balance. Because what happens if you're still angry at the prank an hour later, your emotions are churning. And just like churning changes the nature of milk, so your churning emotions change the nature of the event that caused you the fright and the embarrassment. So remember, right in the beginning there, I said you've got your amygdala, the bodyguard, and your hippocampus, the librarian, and when they create a little echo chamber, things go a bit crazy. That's exactly what happens when you churn. You are creating this reverb in your brain, and you're making the event bigger and bigger and worse and worse. So you might start plotting your revenge on your friend that just was an innocent little prank, and you might react eventually utterly out of proportion and inappropriately. Because what is happening in this little reverb is that you are replaying the event over and over again, and as you're replaying it, you're changing your memory of it, little bit. So now your memory is being fed by your adrenaline and testosterone and vasopressin, and so it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger in your head. You want to catch yourself doing that, because once that's happening, you're no longer thinking with your brain at all. Now you are literally thinking with your blood. And that's not good for anybody. Not for you and not for your society. So we want to just learn to calm down the body. Of course, the ideal is that you catch it early, which is why you're doing these memory triggers and these emotional triggers. So you catch it early and you can just breathe it away. But if you've let it slide and you now find yourself churning over something that happened an hour ago, days ago, generations ago, you need to recognize that what is happening is that these stress hormones consolidate memory. The amygdala doesn't just create the stress moment, it also consolidates that memory to make sure it never, ever happens to you again. That's when we sort of say, never again. Thinking with our blood. We are thinking with our blood. And of course, all of this can build a synaptic pathway, which is flawed. So your brain starts getting cluttered with all sorts of inappropriate, distorted views of the world, and this illusion becomes further and further away from the reality. We want to try and bring them together. As we bring our body and brain together, this awareness of body really forces us to reassess the illusion that our heads are in, and to really look at where our bodies are, and to control this inappropriate churning. It really is the body that helps us do this. The quickest, easiest way is, of course, breathe. Just stop and breathe. If you've missed that bus, then do what you would do if you've missed the bus. Take a walk, literally. Take a walk. Utilizing your newly acquired knowledge about how you move through space, take yourself on a walk, upright, briskly, arms swinging, hips swinging, nodding kindly at the neighbors, at the people walking by you. Exude calm, even if you might not be feeling it. Exude calm. This is the one moment when faking it really does help you change your emotional spectrum, your emotional temperature. We'll get to faking in the next lesson, but